Area Representative Edmund Castro withdrew his case against whistleblower Alvarine Burgess and Great Belize Productions Channel 5. His lawyer, Senior Counsel Rodwell Williams, requested a discontinuance of the case to Justice Courtney Abel, which was subsequently granted. This case has not only been argued in courts, but in the public through the media. As you may recall, during the Penner passport scandal, Burgess appeared on news station Channel 5 making damning accusations against Castro. The allegation was that she paid Castro $2,000 for each visa recommendation, a statement that Castro vehemently denied. Throughout the case, Castro proclaimed his innocence, and the day in which Justice Abel should have ruled on the matter, Castro's attorney withdrew the lawsuit. His attorney, Senior Counsel Rodwell Williams, shared why.
Mr. Castro feels that having brought the matter to court, he has been vindicated. The claim was made against a friend of his who has been a friend for over 20 years, and he brought the matter, and he felt that at this stage he felt vindicated rather than to seek to continue the claim in relation to bringing this friendship to an end on a sour note, and therefore the matter is discontinued.
Sir, we noticed you and Mr. Castro speaking on the back veranda, and it seemed that he was not happy with the decision to discontinue.
No further comment.
Sir, you accept that this is vindication?
It is his right to discontinue, and that's what he has exercised.
But did you suggest it to him that it was prudent to discontinue at this point?
Between me and my client. Thank you.
Burgess shared how she feels about the outcome of the case.
Surprised and disappointed, Mike. Very disappointed, because I came to court. I was dragged to court. I swore on the Bible. I told the truth. To have Mr. Castro just at the end, knowing that he had a losing case, would just back out, withdraw, you know. So I was surprised and disappointed.
Mr. Castro's lawyer told us he did it because he felt that his client's name had been cleared and that he had done enough damage to you as his friend. So he withdrew his case because of you.
They withdrew because they knew that Mrs. Alvarine Burgess came and told the truth, and they had a losing case. I never withdrew anything. They were the ones who withdrew because they know that they had a losing case.
Throughout the case, Burgess was represented by attorney Anthony Sylvester, who shared that Burgess told the truth from the very beginning.
With all due respect and the greatest respect to Mr. Williams, the entire country and entire nation knows that that is far from the truth. The truth, as Ms. Burgess accurately stated a while ago, is that, and Mr. Smith earlier pointed out, they basically knew that the game was up, that you would have written in a judgment scathing remarks and scathing evaluation and assessment of what took place in court. And once that is done, that becomes a record for all eternity. And so they conveniently took this tactical decision so as to, as they have started to do already, try to suggest that, oh, we did that because of XYZ. So I'm not surprised by that particular response, and you'll hear much more similar outrageous responses in the future as to why they withdrew the case. But the reality is, as anyone who is objective can see, is that the conduct and the demeanor of Minister Castro in court left much to be desired. His statements, his admissions in court, in particular, his admission that yes, he did participate in this visa transaction. He admitted that, and so it was a matter of simply the judge just upholding what actually was what transpired in court, and the judge, and they so as to avoid that, they just simply discontinued the matter. The fact of the matter is that Ms. Burgess was telling the truth. Mr. Castro was seen in court to be evasive, was seen in court to be far from telling the truth. And at the end of the day, a judge would have made a decision in our favor. And so they saved themselves of that.
This afternoon, Great Belize Productions Channel 5 sent out a release in which it stated that, quote, "The public has a right to be informed and the media has a responsibility to be vigilant and expose corruption." It is also a huge victory for whistleblowers who bravely expose wrongdoings by public officials, thereby holding those public officials to account and strengthening our democracy, end of quote. Great Belize Productions Channel 5 was represented by Senior Counsel Godfrey Smith.
I suppose that is an attempt to salvage the rapidly sliding reputation of Mr. Castro. No, he brought the claim, and at this last minute decided to withdraw the claim because and pay costs. I mean, you don't do that at this stage. You don't withdraw saying, well, I think my client has been sufficiently vindicated, and be stuck with close to $30,000 in costs, which they're going to have to pay. So basically, it's a situation where they realized that it was the end of the road for Minister Castro. He had foolishly brought a claim that had not the ghost of a chance of succeeding, embarrassed himself in court, made a number of admissions, which you will recall. He basically admitted that, yes, there was a visa hustle on. Yes, his office was being used to facilitate this visa hustle. Yes, his signature was on it. Yes, it could be perceived that he was involved and engaged in a visa hustle. It was wrong. If he had a chance, he wouldn't do it over again. All that he refused, the only thing that he refused to admit was that he'd taken money. And at that point, it was plain to be seen that the game was up. He had been exposed for what he really was and what the media says quite rightly that he had been doing. So Channel 5, both Channel 5 and Alvarine Burgess have been totally vindicated. Of course, we're disappointed that the general public, Mr. Castro's constituencies, will not have the pleasure of reading about in the judgment what an awful liar and he has been, and how he corruptly allowed his office to be used for purposes that were improper. We will be deprived of that judgment, but clearly I think it is vindication enough for both Channel 5 and all media houses in Belize. I think that Alvarine Burgess should be congratulated for boldly stepping forward as a whistleblower. From the very beginning, she was insistent that she was speaking the truth, that she knew what she was talking about. Asked by talk show host Dickie Bradley whether she was prepared to go to court, call witnesses and defend herself, she firmly and unhesitatingly said yes. And that, you will recall, is exactly what she did.
Before taking her story to the media, Burgess consulted several attorneys, including Dickie Bradley, who shared his legal opinion on today's outcome.
After giving her legal advice, after saying to her, Miss Alvarine, to me, your story is impeccable. It is absolutely believable. I'm prepared to go on the television and risk being sued for the matter because I believe what you're saying, and this is a matter of national importance, but you may face a lawsuit. This is a minister of government who you are saying, you have no reputation, you know. You have done wrong things and I gave you money for visas and so on and so forth. And she said, I am prepared to stand up for what I know is the truth. When finally it came down to that, she received document that she is being sued. To libel a minister of government is a serious matter. You will pay $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. He's a minister now in government, where he's sworn to do certain things, where he must abide by certain standards, where, like Caesar's wife, he is to be above reproach. And this lady from Dangriga, from Stan Creek, was not intimidated. She did not say, oh, make we see if we can work out something. Make we try. No, she not, listen, she not bring Mr. Castro to court, so Mr. Castro bring she to court to say, you said things which are not true. And I will tell the judge that you have said things which are not true, so the judge could punish you. And now that the trial is 95% over, who withdraw what? Mrs. Burgess no withdraw nothing. Mrs. Burgess just said, men, after what all happened, all the evidence is in, you know. All the evidence is in, as Anthony Sylvester is telling you. The conduct and the behavior of the person who brought Miss Burgess to court is something we would have want to see that judgment. There's no getting out of that. So don't let anybody try to spin this or anything. The person who brought this lady, and she up and down on that highway with her husband and her family, she no withdraw nothing. Remember that, you know. Remember that just before the judge said, you don't have no claim against this lady. You don't have no reputation to be damaged. You did what she said you did. They withdraw. Big respect to Mrs. Burgess and big respect to the media too, because what is going on is there's an attempt to intimidate people. You saw Melvin Holtz get on the media. His tape recording was put out and he's saying all kind of things that's going on. You know what is the first thing that was said? Same thing Castro do. Uno go say it, Uno repeat it and see what happened to Uno. Uno last one, everybody get freed. She never get freed. She up and down to this court, as she told us just now, Mr. Dickey and Mr. Anthony, I take that Bible in my hand because everything where I say, I know that's the truth.
Burgess says she will consult with her attorney to decide whether or not she will sue Castro for damage to her reputation.